Hello everyone, welcome to G-Code Makers classes. Here we will guide you through mastering your machines and your software, helping you develop valuable skills and get your ideas and your machines up and running. Hello everyone, I'm Hermias Nieuwert, and today we're going to create a pen holder. As you can see, this is the model that we are going to be creating today. It's a pen holder, and as you can see, it can hold a lot of valuable things like a modeled exhaust pipe, a lighter, a Koki, a couple of nozzle cleaners, and then the most important of all, your pens. So let's get into it. At the end of our class, this is what our pen holder would be looking like. First off, that we're going to do is create a new design. So at the top right corner, we're going to click on new design. And the functions we're going to use today is create sketch. We're going to use the sweep function. Also going to use the circular pattern function. We're going to do extruding as well. Fillet, chamfer, and new component. To start off with, we're going to create a new component. With our new component, we're going to call this pen holder. The reason I'm adding a new component is when you start making more complicated designs with multiple components, especially when they are moving components, it's better to use different components. So getting used to making components can help you a lot. And I know I said components a lot, but I hope you get the idea. Get used to making components and your life would be better in the future. And so that's that. To start off with, we're going to create a sketch. So we click on create sketch, and for today's project we're going to use our bottom plane. Let's create a circle. So what we're going to do is press C to select circle again. Going to use our center circle, click on a center, drag it out by 65 millimeters. Then we can extrude this. So we click E to extrude, and I'm going to extrude it by 2 millimeters. That means the bottom of our pen holder would be 2 millimeters thick. We're going to create a sketch. We just click on this top surface, we create sketch, and we're going to make an offset. And we're going to make an offset of minus 2.2 millimeters. You'll understand why I say minus 2.2 in a second. We're going to cut away from this object to make our faces more consistent. So I'll show you what I mean. So we just click enter and we have our minus 2.2 offset. We're going to press E to extrude, and we're going to extrude this by 5 millimeters. That would leave us with, it looks almost like a bowl. We're going to click on this top surface and we're going to create another sketch. We are going to make a snap line. Sorry about that. I'm going to create a snap line. We press L, we press X, hover over the circle in the middle and drag up. As you can see, it makes our snap line, and we move it up to the top of these two circles. So I'm going to take the inner circle and drag it up to the top circle, just like that. And now we're going to make a rectangle. So we're pressing R for rectangle, and we're going to use a center rectangle, and we're going to find the middle of our line. Remember, it is always shown by a triangle. So at our center of our line, we click. Well, before we click, make sure that our construction lines are deselected. Center of our line, click, drag out, and we're going to make it the top value at 8 millimeters, and the side value does not matter as long as it's on the inside of our inner circle and on the outside of our outer circle. So this won't work, but this will work. So we click on it. As you can see, we have our profile that we can extrude. We're gonna click on finish sketch, and now I'm gonna show you how we're gonna hide this sketch. So in our browser, we just click on our drop down, we click on our sketches drop down, and we're gonna hide sketch 3, and we're gonna create a new sketch. So we click on create new sketch, and we're gonna use this side plane, and we're gonna use the project function. So what we're gonna do is press P to project, and we're gonna project this top surface. It's the only way we can find exactly where our top surface is. If you wanted the bottom surface, you can press P and also project your bottom surface. But we only need the top surface. So we're gonna press L for line again, and we're gonna make a construction line. Gonna find the center of this line, click and drag it up by 65 millimeters. And then at the right top, we just click on finish sketch, and we can unhide our sketch 3. And now we have 2 sketches that we're going to work with. When we use the sweep function, we need one profile that we need to sweep, and then we need a path to sweep on. And that's what we just created here. It would sweep up by 65 millimeters, and it would sweep this profile that we made on this side. So our next option is going to be creating or using our sweep function. Okay. So let's use our sweep function. So at our top, click on sweep. Remember, if sweep is not in your toolbar, you can just click on create. You can look for the sweep function, click on the 3 dots and pin it to your toolbar. It is a tool that we use a lot, so I would suggest pinning it. So let's click on sweep. And the first thing that we select is our profile. As you can see in our sweep functions, we can see profile. So we click on profile, and then we select our path. So path, and then we're going to use this construction line that we just made. As you can see, it drags out our profile. We can always change the taper angle if we wanted to. So let's make that, let's say 20 degrees. It would do a taper on it. But for our purpose, we're just going to do a twist angle, and I'm going to do 30 degrees. I wouldn't suggest going farther than 45 degrees if you wanted to change it. It's just because of how 3D printing layers work. As soon as you start exceeding 45 degrees, you will have a lot of overhang on your prints, and it would just be bad quality. So stay within 45 degrees, but for my purpose 30 degrees would just be perfect. So in twist angle, we're just going to do 30 degrees. Then we press enter, and now we're going to use our circular pattern. So we're going to click on the top on circular pattern. Remember, if it's not in your toolbar, just click on create, go down to patterns, circular pattern, and you can pin it to your toolbar. It's also a function that we use a lot. So we click on circular pattern, and we're going to click on, in our circular pattern palette, we're just going to click on object type, and we're going to use feature. In our timeline, we can select our feature. So at the bottom, we just click on sweep, and it would select our sweep function. We're going to click on axis, and we're going to choose this axis. You can choose the inner, outer, it doesn't matter, it would still yield the same result. So we just click on the circle, and it would usually look like this. But we're going to do 12, and then you can just press enter. Next, we're going to create another sketch. So on any of these pillars, it does not matter, you just click on it, you click on create sketch, and we're going to project again. So press P, and we're going to project this bottom of our pen holder, and also the inside bottom of our pen holder. And then we can press OK, and that would leave us with this line. this circle that we can extrude. So what we can do now is just press E for extrude. We can select the circle and remember to select this pillar. And we're going to extrude this by 8 millimeters. And press enter. Just like that. Next we're going to cut away all of these inconsistent faces. As you can see, it makes these lines. If you look at this one, it does not show any lines in between our splines. So we need to do the same on this side. So we click on our top surface and we click on create sketch, and the 0.2 millimeters that we talked about is the 0.2 millimeters we're going to cut away. So on the outer circle we're going to click on it, and as you can see our offset line is, well, click on offset, so press O for offset, click on our outer circle, and as you can see our line is on the outside, it should be on the inside. So we're going to make it minus 0.1 millimeters. Same with this side, it's on the inside, and we're going to make it 0.1 as well. Firstly we're going to cut away the inside, so we press E for extrude, and we're just going to click on this profile, the 0.1 millimeter profile we just made. We just click on this top bottom part of our pen holder on the inside, and it would cut it down to that face. It would hide our sketch automatically. We just unhide it again. We click on E again, and we choose this outer profile as well. So we click on it and we drag it down. As you can see, our faces are consistent. And now we can just hide our top sketch. And that is our basic done of our pen holder. So let's add our fillet. Our fillet we just add into one of our spline openings. So let's click on fillet. If your fillet is not in your toolbar, you just click on modify, and you can go down to fillet and you just add it to your toolbar. It is a function that we use a lot. So we're going to click on all of these corners within the spline. And we're going to drag it out to look even. So we drag it out. As you can see, dragging it out too much would make it uneven. And we're looking for quite an even looking spline. Now I'm going to use 4 millimeters. And then we click OK. To make our lives a bit easier, we're going to use our circular function, circular pattern function. And if we click on features and we click on our timeline on our fillet feature and we use our axis and press OK, we would get a C pattern error. Sometimes you get errors and you just need to find a solution around these errors. So a way I would negate this problem is to click on circular pattern again, and instead of using features we're going to use faces. In our timeline we just click on our feature that we just used, the fillet feature. We use our axis again, make sure it's at 12, and we click on OK. As you can see, it has been done. Next we're going to add a chamfer to this, so we just click on chamfer. Again, just using one spline, we click on the outside lines, then on the inside lines, just like that. And I'm going to do a chamfer of 0.5 millimeters, just like that. Now we can do the circular function again. We click on our chamfer and we do our circular function. This is going to take a bit of calculating, so with the magic of editing it would be complete. So let's start, and I'll click on this axis and I'll click OK. So that took about 20 minutes to calculate. Irregardless, let's move on. So the first function we're going to use now is fillet, and we're going to fillet this top. So on the top, we click on a surface and we just click 1. And that would make a nice, smooth, round top. We're also going to do the same on the inside. So we're going with fillet. We go on this line and we can drag it out by about 3.5. That would leave a nice rounded bottom. We press OK. And then we're going to add a chamfer. But before that, I just want to make a quick explanation of why I add a chamfer at the bottom. So if we add a chamfer, this is what it would look like. But just to show you why I add a chamfer, it's basically just to look better. So if I'm going to use a sketch and I project this object and I make a line up, you don't have to follow along. I'm just showing you an example of what it would look like if we don't add our chamfer. This is just a quick show of it. This is what our object would look like if we don't add a chamfer. It has this elephant's foot sticking out. To negate this, all we do is just add a chamfer. Just wanted to make a quick explanation. If you ever struggle with elephant's foot, you can even dial it in. So you can use chamfer. You click on the bottom and we can do 2 distances. And the one distance we're just gonna make it, let's say 0.3 millimeters, and we can take that up to about 0.5. That would leave us with the most square bottom that you would get after 3D printing it. You can always adjust these settings depending on what 3D printer you're using and what settings you're using. But for my case, I'm just gonna use 2 millimeters of the chamfer in equal distance, just like that. And we are done with our pen holder. As a last function that we're going to use appearance, and we're going to look at plastic. I'm going to use ABS white again. I'm going to edit it, and we're going to make it an orangey color, something like that. I think that looks good, and that should be your project. Okay, and we are back in our slicer. I'm gonna open the file, open our pen holder, import it, and I'm gonna leave the settings exactly the same as previously. So that means 0.2 layer height, all of the rest stays the same, infill stays at 10%, speeds are all determined by what machine you're using, supports we are removing, and also build plate adhesion, none. So that's everything set there. If we slice it, it takes about 2 hours to print. This is with my Ender 3 V3. And that brings us to the end of the slicing. So let's move on. And we are at the end of our class. Thank you for watching. I really hope you found it meaningful. If you found it meaningful and helpful, please go to our testimonial page and leave a testimonial there. Also, what I want to ask, if there's something you could change about this video, what would that be? Please leave it in the comments or in our Skool community. I would really like to improve my videos and make it easier for you to learn. And yet again, thank you for watching and have a maker's day.